the simple present tense. The simple present tense, which is also called the present indefinite tense, is used in the following situations, in the following circumstances. First, it is used for repeated or regular actions. Second, it is used for permanent states. Third, it is used for general truths. And fourth, it is used for scheduled events. Examples of regular and repeated actions are: he goes to office 5 days a week. Now this action is repeated 5 days in a week. Second, I take breakfast every morning. It's a regular action, repeated action. I repeat this action every day, every morning. Third, the students assemble in the assembly ground every morning. It's also a repeated and regular action. Examples of general truths and permanent states are: first, the Nile flows from south to north. It's a general truth. It's a permanent state. Second, the earth revolves around the sun. It's a general truth. It's a permanent state. Third, the glaciers melt in the summer. It's also a general truth. It's a permanent state. It's always like this. And fourth, it takes many years for doctors to be reputable. It's also a fact. It's also a general truth. People know that. It's a fact. Examples of scheduled events. Number 1. The press conference starts at 11 a.m. Its scheduled event is going to happen at 11 a.m. So we use the present indefinite or the simple present tense. The press conference begins at 11 a.m. Second, the train arrives in an hour. It's also a scheduled event. The train is going to arrive in an hour. So we use the present indefinite or the present simple present tense for this scheduled event. Third, the concert starts at midnight. It's a scheduled event. The concert is scheduled to start at midnight. So we use the present indefinite present simple present tense for this scheduled event. The concert starts at midnight. Now, what is the formula of making a sentence of the present indefinite or the simple present tense? How the sentence of this tense is structured? What is the sequence of words in this sentence? You already know that in the English language, the standard structure of a sentence is like this. First, the subject, then the verb, and then the object. All the other structures are formed within this framework: subject, verb, and object. So in the present indefinite tense, what is the structure? First, the subject plus, after the subject, first form of the verb, and after that we have the object. Now, with the first form of the verb, if the subject is he, she, it, or any singular noun, we add s or es with the first form of the verb. With they, we, you, I, or any plural nouns, we don't add s or es with the first form of the verb. So what is the structure of the simple present tense? Subject plus first form of the verb plus the object. How? Let's look at the examples. He sleeps at night. He is the subject plus first form of the verb sleep. But because the subject is he, we add s with the first form of the verb sleep, so it becomes sleeps. He sleeps at night. Second, it jams every time I start it. It is the subject plus jams. First form of the verb with the s because the subject is it. Every time I start it. They travel by bus. They, the subject. Travel. First form of the verb by bus. Now the travel doesn't have an s or es because the subject is a they. If they is the subject, then we don't add s or es with the first form of the verb. He writes a letter. He, the subject, followed by first form of the verb with the S because the subject is he, and a letter, the object. How do we make the negative sentences of the simple present tense or the present indefinite tense? We simply add do not or does not between the subject and the first form of the verb. Then you have got the negative of the sentence. For example, the affirmative, the positive sentence of the simple present tense is he sleeps at night. So between he and sleeps, we add doesn't, does not. So it becomes he does not sleep at night. You must have noticed something, that in the positive of the present indefinite or the simple present tense, the first form of the verb in this sentence has S in it, sleeps. He sleeps at night. But when it gets negative, he does not sleep, the S is not there. The reason is that the does not or does removes this S or ES from the first form of the verb. If a sentence contains does or does not, the S with the first form of the verb is removed. The S or ES with the first form of the verb is removed. So if the positive is he sleeps at night, the negative will be he does not sleep at night. He does not sleeps at night is wrong, it's incorrect. The correct sentence, the correct negative of the present indefinite tense is he does not sleep at night. Similarly, the positive is it jams every time I started. So the negative will be it does not jam every time I started. The positive is they travel by bus, but the negative is they do not travel by bus. Over here in the positive, we already don't have an S with the first form of the verb because the subject is they. So it doesn't make any difference. They travel by bus, they do not travel by bus. The positive is Harry writes a letter. So the negative is Harry does not write a letter. The S with the first form of the verb write has been removed in the negative. How are the questions or interrogative sentences of this tense made? So what do? We simply add does or do before the subject. The rest of the sentence remains the same, except the S or ES with the first form of the verb in the positive is again removed because we've got again the does. So, he sleeps at night. Does he sleep at night? The S is removed from the sleep. It jams every time I started. Does it jam every time I started? They travel by bus. Do they travel by bus? He writes a letter. Does he write a letter? The S is removed from writes. So it becomes, does he write a letter? So how do we make the negative interrogative or the negative questions of this tense? We simply put does before the subject and not after the subject. It means the subject comes between does and not or do and not. For example, the positive is he sleeps at night. The negative is he does not sleep at night. And the interrogative, the question is, does he sleep at night? What will be the negative interrogative? The negative question, does he not sleep at night? He, the subject, comes between does and not. Similarly, the positive is, it jams every time I started. The negative is, it does not jam every time I started. The interrogative is, does it jam every time I started? The negative question or the negative interrogative will be, does it not jam every time I started? It, the subject, has come between does and not. The positive is, Harry writes a letter. The negative is, Harry does not write a letter. The interrogative is, does Harry write a letter? So the negative interrogative, the negative question will be, does Harry not write a letter? Now there is another way that we make a negative interrogative or the negative question of the simple present or present indefinite tense. What is that way? What is that method? We simply put doesn't or don't before the subject and it becomes a negative question. For example, the positive is he sleeps at night. The negative is he does not sleep at night. And the interrogative is does he sleep at night? And the first version of the negative question was does he not sleep at night? The second version that I'm talking about now, the second version of the negative question is doesn't he sleep at night? Doesn't. We have put doesn't before the subject and we have got the negative question of this sentence. Similarly, the positive is it jams every time I start it. The negative is it doesn't jam. It does not jam every time I started. The interrogative is does it jam every time I started? The first version of the negative question, negative interrogative was does it not jam every time I started? Now the second version of the negative question or the negative interrogative is doesn't it jam every time I started? Don't they travel by bus? Doesn't Harry write a letter? That's all for this video. Thanks.